This is the Begin Within podcast, where we believe real, lasting health and fitness requires you to start inside before you work out. I'm your host, Nate Slegger, and I'm here to show you behind the scenes of fitness. You already know exercise is good for you, but what about all the other things in life that affect your fitness? If you're looking for extra motivation to get started or to make sure you keep going, this is the place for you.
Produced by BeginWithin.fit.
Improving health is about so much more than just losing weight. But I realize weight loss might be the goal that brought you here to the Begin Within podcast. That's why I wrote my latest book, 5 Ways to Stop Wrecking Weight Loss, to reveal the 5 areas that I see are most overlooked by the people that I work with who want to lose weight. Each one of the chapters in this free ebook describes that specific area that you need to focus on to improve your health and get great permanent results. And it also links back here to episodes of the podcast where we've had experts on the show talking about that specific area. So you can benefit from those previous episodes while you're learning about how to maximize the results that you're after. You can get your free copy of my ebook, 5 Ways to Stop Wrecking Weight Loss, by going to beginwithin.fit/ebook or going to the link in the show notes. Now is a great time to do a little multitasking while you're listening to the start of this episode. Head over to grab your free copy of my book, 5 Ways to Stop Wrecking Weight Loss. If you missed the URL, here it is again, beginwithin.fit/ebook. Or there is a link in the show notes for you. Grab your copy, and now let's get on with today's episode. I recently had an awesome opportunity to share some of our Begin Within philosophies, some of the things that we use to help our clients and, of course, our community at large with the process of improving health by means of a talk for the International Holistic Health Alliance. And I wanted to share it with you today. So the topic that they asked me to speak on was 3 overlooked steps to making improvement. So what we were trying to do is identify some of the areas as we all work to improve our health. And really, to make improvements in any area of life, we're trying to identify some of the things that influence the process that are often misunderstood or ignored altogether. And so I had the opportunity to share this information with some awesome holistic health practitioners, as well as their teams and clients. And what I wanted to do is share that talk with you today so that you can make sure that you aren't overlooking any of these 3 areas, and you'll know exactly what you can do to make sure that they get the attention that they deserve in your health journey. So I want to thank the International Holistic Health Alliance, the IHHA, for allowing me to be part of that evening for their webinar, and also for allowing me to share this information on to you as well. So I want to thank them, and I hope that you enjoy. Here is 3 overlooked steps to making improvement. Whether you are someone who is experiencing that or you're helping others to improve how they're feeling and improve their health, we all understand that making those improvements very often can feel overwhelming and like something that is just out of reach for us. It can feel complicated. It can feel like everything in life is set up to work against us making improvement, right? And in a lot of areas, it is set up to work against us in so many different ways. So as we're working on making improvements, we realize that oftentimes it's an uphill battle, but it really feels like a steep incline most of the time. And even though we're working on it, we're trying to find solutions, we're trying to find answers. A lot of interventions don't always work because they really don't address the inside. And when I say the inside, and again, my company is called Begin Within. We're all about the inside. I mean, who we are inside, the way we think, the way we feel, the root cause of what got us to the place where we needed to make a change often doesn't get addressed, right? We're just trying to like slap a band-aid on it in many cases. And so as a result, because that root cause isn't addressed, it always feels like an uphill battle. We need another answer and then another answer, and then another answer. And we quickly can lose motivation, we can give up, and we leave feeling like we're a big problem. Like I'm a problem, I'm a mess, I'll never get fixed. This is never going to work. I'll never make improvement. But what if it was possible? What if you knew that you had control over the process of making improvement? What if you wanted a new result and you knew what you needed to do in order to make it happen every single time? What if you thought, I need to start a new routine, and you just did it? You were able to incorporate that new routine easily into your life and then stick with it. And then as a result of that, you never felt guilty again about not doing the things you know you should be doing. And imagine in this world where you have control over making improvement, that you're continuing to learn about yourself. You're continuing to grow as an individual, and you're really enjoying the process. And of course, you're getting results, real results. You're working on improving your health, getting better results, and it's actually happening. Sounds great, right? If that was possible, what I'd like you to do is just think to yourself, what would you work on? What would you work on first? And where would you like to end up eventually? It's pretty cool when we start thinking about potentials like that. And what I hope to do tonight is to be able to introduce you to some either new ideas or to remind you of some old ideas that make a huge difference in making improvement, and things that, like I said, are often overlooked. Tracy had a nice introduction, so I won't spend a lot more time talking about me. Not that interesting anyway. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach. My background is in the fitness industry. And currently we have an online company called Begin Within Fitness, where we're really focused on movement, helping people do that. But we've found that we really need to support people in a lot of other ways, but we just do it as easily as possible. And our clients really drive the bus when it comes to the changes they want to make. We just help to support them. So, and I also am the host of a podcast, Begin Within. Now we call it the Begin Within Health Show. So I look forward to having probably some of you as guests very soon. So think about that as we talk. But we interview experts there, and the goal is always, how can we use what we just learned in order to easily incorporate it into life? Now, like I mentioned, I was in the fitness industry, and I want to tell you about my journey for just a bit, because it will help you understand where I'm coming from when we talk about the 3 overlooked areas of making improvement. These little emojis represent the journey for me. So when I first started, and the starry eyes on the left, that's how we all are when we start a new job, right? Or new career, we're in a new industry, or like, this is awesome. I've dreamed of being here. This is so great. I can't believe I'm doing this and I'm getting paid for it. That's how I felt. And I also thought that I had all the answers. I was like, this is great. People are sick. People aren't feeling good. They're not healthy, but I know exactly what they need to do, right, in order to make improvements. And this was a long time ago, incidentally. You need to know that. So then I move into phase 2 of my career, helping people get healthier. And that's the middle emoji. And the reason that I felt that way was because even though I thought I knew all the answers, I knew like the magical workout, the magical diet that people needed, I realized that people weren't doing it. And that it was frustrating to me. It's like, what's going on? You're not healthy. You want help. I know what to do. I can tell you what you need to do. And then they weren't doing it over and over again. They were quitting on me. They were getting frustrated, and I was getting frustrated. So there was a moment where I realized that I needed to stop learning about diets and fitness, exercise, and I needed to start learning about what my clients really needed to learn about, what they really needed to work on. And this was a moment for me that was just huge because I realized I wasn't in fitness, I wasn't in health, I was in behavior change. That was the industry that I was in. And when I started to look at it through that lens, my job is to help people change their behaviors, leading them to become healthier, right? It's not my job to make them healthy. It's not my job to even tell them what to do. It's my job to help them, to support them in changing their behaviors. Then things started to change. So I became a student of psychology. I became a student of habits, of motivation, and learning about the brain, and then trying to help people to understand what those things meant for them. And things really started to go really well at that point for my clients and for me. During that time, I also started training other trainers. That became the biggest part of my job, was to help them to be successful as they serve their clients. So um, that's what I want to share with you tonight. I'll share with you some of the big things that I took away, some of the big things that we've made sure are part of our programs. And I hope that it'll give you an opportunity to think about the way that you're implementing these same things into your own process of health improvement and into the way that you help others to improve themselves and their health. These ended up being some of the textbooks. Maybe some of you have read these before. Some of the textbooks that boiled things down very, very easily for people to understand. So I was referencing these for my clients. I was sharing the books with them. I was encouraging them to read them. And these each are just a bunch of boiled down research and studies to help us understand how to change behavior. Atomic Habits by James Clear, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, and Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg. So this is not anything that I came up with. I can pretty much guarantee each of you is a lot smarter than I am. I just love to learn and I love to share. So a lot of what you're about to hear came from these guys, these giants in the behavior change industry. So let's talk about point one, the overlooked areas of making improvement. And the first one is understanding motivation. So motivation is a big word, right? Especially when it comes to changing behavior and it comes to doing things that are new in life, diets, working out, eating veggies, right? Those, I'm just not motivated. Or Mondays I'm motivated, but the rest of the week my motivation kind of wanes, and then I do the less healthy thing, right? So we have to understand motivation if we're going to successfully, consistently make improvement and help others to do so. Now, it's a complicated topic, so I'm going to boil it down into the way that I explain it to the individuals that we work with. If something is hard, you need high motivation, right? And that's pretty much all you need to know about motivation. If something's hard to do, you need high motivation. So we all understand that, we get it. But the other end of that, or the other side of that same coin, is that if we have low motivation, then the thing that we're trying to do has to be easy or it's not going to get done. And so I have here for you the Fogg behavior model from behaviormodel.org. BJ Fogg put this on paper for me anyway, in that book, Tiny Habits. And you can see the action line, the green line, anything that would fall on the right side of that or above it, it gets done. Anything that falls on the left side or below it does not get done. So what the lesson is this: if we want to do something consistently, and in order to change, in order to improve, it has to be consistent, right? We have to do it on a regular enough basis for it to give us the results we want to improve our health. So it has to be consistent. If we want to do something consistently, we have to make it easy, because motivation comes and goes. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low. So whatever we're trying to do has to be something we can accomplish even with low motivation if we're going to do it consistently. And therefore it has to be easy. And this is something as I'm coaching our team as well as clients that we work with, we come back to this again and again. Oh, I didn't do it. I wanted to work out. I wanted to do the meal plan that I had set up. I wanted to prep all my food. I didn't do it though. I don't know why I didn't do it. I know why you didn't do it. I know why anybody doesn't do things, because it's too difficult. It was just too difficult to do, and you didn't have sufficient motivation for it. So we need to make it easier for ourselves. We need to set ourselves up for success. So that's overlook step number one. We need to make it easy. And here's just a quick example of how to make it easy, right? If you are someone who wants to work out and you've got workout clothes, shoes, whatever they are, right? You got the workout outfit, the thing you're going to wear when you work out. Make it easy. Put it out the night before so that in the morning when motivation is low, it's right there. You don't have to go hunting for the stuff, right? Just set ourselves up for success by making it easier. And this oftentimes is where we fail. We don't make it easy enough for ourselves. So we're focused always on easy. Improvement is improvement. If you're moving toward improvement, you're becoming a better version of yourself. You're becoming a healthier version of yourself. It doesn't matter how small the step is. So focus on taking small steps. The bigger ones can come later. Make it easy, and you'll continue to make improvement. Number 2, overlooked step toward making improvement is focusing on habits. We have to look at habits. And here's the reason why. This is from Charles Duhigg. Other experts will tell you this number is actually higher. He said this: habits, rather than conscious decision making, can shape as many as 45% of the choices we make every day. So I'll just round that up to say, Charles says half of the things that you and I do every single day, we don't even think about. We just do them because they are habits. They're habitual. It happens automatically without us even being conscious of it. Half of those things. And again, other researchers will say 60%, 70%, 80% of the things we do every day are automated, habitual. We don't think about it. So if we are going to make improvement, we want to focus on the habits. We want to make improvement, and the thing we're trying to do in order to improve, habitual, right? Why not make it automatic so we don't have to work so hard? So we have to focus on our habits. That's overlook step number 2. So I'm going to give you a super quick crash course on habits, similar things to what we share with our clients to help in their process of improvement. This is a very simplified look at what creates a habit. Why do habits stick? Some things we try to do, they stay a part of our life. Some things we don't even try to do stay a part of our life. We wish they weren't there, right? Why does that happen? Why do some things stick and then other things just don't? The answer's here, and it's understanding how our brain works. So what I want to explain is the routine on the top of the triangle there. That's the habitual action. That's the thing that keeps happening unconsciously. Now, the reason that it happens unconsciously are because of the two things below. One is a cue, which is something that happens in our life, either habitually or outside of our control, that tells us to take the action, to do the habit. And then the other is a reward. We need to feel good after we do something, or we won't do it again. And if we do feel good after doing something, we're pretty sure it's going to happen again. That's just the way our brain works. We get a reward, we do it again. And this isn't well, I'm going to have a fun meal at the end of the week and that'll keep me exercising all week. It's not like that. This has to be an immediate reward to your brain. So similar, if you've ever trained a dog, you understand you can't tell your dog to sit, they sit, and then give them a treat at the end of the week and expect them to sit the next time you tell them to sit. It has to happen immediately, right? A second later, you got to deliver the reward and it wires it into your dog's brain. Well, in a similar way, our brains work like that as well. The reward has to be there immediately. So when we have a cue, something happens in life, it tells us to take the habit, and then there's a reward that follows. Our brain says, hey, next time that cue happens, I got to do that thing again to get the reward. Now that we know that, I can help you build a new habit. So we're going to just look at 3 steps that it takes to create a new habit in your life. If you're someone that loves to take notes, you could start working on one right now. I'm going to go through this really quickly. We teach courses on this for our clients. But step 1 is to find, we call it the key action. And this is closely related to the habit that we want to keep performing over and over again. But with the exception that it has to be a very easy step, right? We talked about that before with motivation. So an example is, I want to take a walk, right? Okay, that's great. But we're going to focus on a very small piece of you taking that walk that we can habitualize. So we're going to think, what aspect of that whole walk of you going out, all the different, steps that it takes to get you outside, get you to take the walk, which one of those steps, once you take it, you are very likely to follow through and do the rest of the walk. So an example would be putting on my shoes. Okay. That might be our key action. You might think, man, once my shoes are on to go outside, I'll just do it. I'll definitely follow through and I'll get out there and I'll take the walk. But it's like getting those shoes on. That's the thing, right? So that in this example would be the key action. So whatever process we want to take a look at, right? If it's, I want to drink more water. Well, what's the key action? Maybe it's filling up the water bottle, right? It might not be even guzzling it, just making sure that the water is present. So we got to find a key action. Then we're going to stack it. This is the cue. We have to put it after something that's already happening in life. Perform it after an action that we already habitually take. Okay. Experts have found that this helps us wire in habits better than anything else. So an example would be, when do you want to take your walk? I want to take it in the morning. Okay. What are some things you already do every single morning that you're going to do right before you take a walk outside? And in this case, we might think, well, I drink a cup of coffee every morning. When my coffee's done, I'm very likely to go outside and take a walk after that. That's going to be the habit. Guaranteed, drink a cup of coffee every day. It's habitual. All right, let's wire in the walk after the habit. Only remember, we're not going to wire in the whole walk, just putting on the shoes. So we're going to set our cup of coffee down, our empty mug. Yum, that was good coffee. All right, next thing we're going to do is turn around and get those shoes on. And we make it as easy as possible. I would put those shoes as close to where you set that cup of coffee down as possible. I put it next to the sink every day. Great. Let's get those shoes as close to the kitchen as we possibly can. So we're going to stack it after something we already habitually do. And then lastly, we need to celebrate. And this is the coolest part of habit building that at least I think. And we help you find something that you already do that you can do on demand that will just make your brain feel good. Okay. Which means you can feel good anytime you want. Okay. I'll teach you how to do it right now. Imagine that you have a piece of paper, you crumpled it up, you've got to throw it in the waste basket on the other side of the room. Okay. It's like Michael Jordan, you just like shoot it over there and it goes in on the first try. What's something that you would do naturally? How would you respond to that occurrence? Right? Be like, yes, Yes. I don't know. What would you do? Right? Yeah. We all have little things that we do physically. It's physiology that we use to celebrate positive things happening. What is it for you or your sports team you're watching? In the final seconds of the game, as the last ticks come off the clock, they win the game. What would you do? Yes, that was awesome. Fist pump, right? Something. Now, if you don't have to do it now, if you don't want, you can turn your camera off if you'd like. Do a celebration. What's your celebration move? That's what I would encourage you to use to wire in new habits or just to feel a little boost of positivity anytime you want. Okay. So here's how it looks for our client that wants to take a walk outside every time or every single day, right? Her key action is putting on her shoes. She's going to stack it after she finishes her cup of coffee, right? Coffee gets set down. Boom. I'm going for my shoes. As soon as those shoes go on, celebrate, right? For her, thumbs up, double thumbs up. And she says, "You're awesome" to herself, right? And it makes her feel good. Celebration, little jolt of positivity. She's going to wire that in. I would have her practice a few times. And I bet you tomorrow, when she sets her cup of coffee down, her brain says, "There's something we need to do. There's something else we need to do." What is it? Put on our shoes. And once those shoes are on, we're very likely to take a walk. Okay. Now, this is all conjecture. This is trial and error. We just try. We try to pick a key habit that's going to, or a key action that's going to work. We try to stack it with something that might work at the time of day when we want to take the new habit and make it happen. And we just play around with it. We just work on it. We try a celebration. If it doesn't really help. Okay, let's try something else. Let's try this scenario. What would you do in this, right? Try a new celebration. The process is endless. We could work on this to build new habits, but as we go, we learn. You find your celebration. Mine is this like double fist pump. Yeah. And I feel good right now just having done it. You could wire in habits with a little celebration when you find your key action and you stack it after something you already do. So overlook step number 2. You can tell I love talking habits, right? We love building them. Overlooked step number 2 in improving is create habits. We have to do it on the level of habits. Otherwise, it's not going to get wired in. It's not going to keep happening for the rest of our life the way that we want it to happen. And I know you want to make improvement for the rest of your life. So we have to do it on the level of habits. Overlook step number 3 is to address mindset. Here's why it's so important. If we don't change what's happening inside our mind, if we don't really change who we are in this process of improvement, we're always going to default back to who we were. We have to continue to work to change our mindset, the way we think, the way we respond and react in different situations. Once we change our mindset, and again, that we have to be willing to change who we are, the way we look at things, everything else changes along with it. The outside, the health improvements we want to make, whatever it is, it all hinges on changing things inside our mind. So I'll just share 2 things with you. We love to continue to educate, and I know many of you probably do, continue to educate our clients. We love to educate ourselves, and that's always shaping the mindset, learning from experts, looking at things from a different angle. So here's 2 that we picked up that we really like, we share with our clients. The first one, we just say, act like a pro. And what we mean by that is act like a professional athlete. And if you watch athletes, even not professional ones, what happens when things go well, right? They celebrate like crazy. It's like, give me a break already. It was great, but it wasn't that great, right? They just go nuts when things go well. Like they're just so happy. It's ridiculous, right? Do you remember in the NFL, they used to have the rules against the celebration? Like they were celebrating too much. You can't have all this celebration, right? Professional athletes love to celebrate, and we have to do that too. If we're going to continue to make improvement, we have to celebrate like crazy when things go well. celebrate ourselves, appreciate ourselves for moving forward. And another thing about athletes is when things go wrong, they have to move on as quickly as possible. You got to get your head back in the game, forget about what went wrong, and get out there and play. Keep going. And we have to do the same with our mindset when it comes to improvement. We're focusing on our mindset. When things don't go the way we want, we just have to move on. We don't have to make it into a big existential situation. And here's how we do that. We inspect the process. When things go wrong, act like Sherlock Holmes. Just get curious when things don't go the way you expect. You know, I set up this whole habit thing the way Nate said, but I tried it. It didn't work. I don't know. I must just not be good at improvement. That's not it. It's something about the process. Change something. Try something different, right? Get curious. Well, what could it be? Let me try it this way. Let me try it that way. Now, this is how improvement works. And that's the only way to improve, incidentally, is when we get curious when things don't go the way we expect. And then we just investigate, try to figure out, make a best guess on how to do it better, make a new plan, and we just keep going. We keep putting forth effort. We don't judge ourselves. We just inspect the process when things don't go the way we expect. So overlook step number 3 is improve your mindset. We all have to do that. We have to keep working on that as we continue to improve. It has to be part of the process. Otherwise, we'll always default back to who we are or who we were. Okay, so what's next? I want to encourage you to think about this last quote. This is Dale Carnegie. This one gets me every time. I share this just about every time I get to speak on health, fitness, personal improvement. Dale Carnegie. Just let this one sit for a second. If you are not in the process of becoming the person you want to be, you are automatically engaged in becoming the person you don't want to be. Oh, does that get you? Every time I read it, every time I see it, I just get this, like, it motivates me from this like real like, oh, you're not going to get me person I don't want to be. But it teaches an important lesson. We have to be in the process of becoming the person you want to be, right? We can't just want it. Just like, oh, I want to change. I wish I could improve. I wish I was healthier. We can't just want it. We have to get in the process. We have to be in the process of becoming the person we want to be. If we're not in the process and we're just sitting there wanting to be healthier, wanting to be better, then the second part of the quote applies, right? Then we're automatically engaged in becoming the person we don't want to be. So what's next is this. Analyze the process, your own process of becoming better, of making improvement, of becoming a healthier version of yourself. Analyze your process. Don't give up on it. Stay in the process. And as you do, don't forget to include these 3 steps, right? Often overlooked. Make it easy. Whatever you're trying to do, make it as easy as you possibly can. Focus on creating habits, and then also address mindset.